Entrevistas Alfa.
Yo soy Patti Velasco en Alfa 91.3, la estación número 1 de música en inglés de todo Iberoamérica, y estoy con Chuck from Simple Plan. Chuck, how are you?
Hey, hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm great. Thank you for having me. Gracias.
Gracias, yo estoy muy bien también. I'm very happy to have you here, and I want to thank you for joining me today. And let's dive right in. Let's talk about The Kids in the Crowd, this documentary that just went out last July,
Yeah.
right? And it celebrates 25 years of Simple Plan. I want to know, what was it like revisiting your journey from your early days in Montreal to becoming global pop punk icons?
It was amazing. It was really emotional, honestly, more emotional than I thought it would be to see, your whole journey, like you said, seeing your whole history, everything that we've been through, everything we had to do, the ups, the downs, the great moments, the tougher moments. It was really special to have all that into an hour and a half movies, and to have all these people from other bands talking about us and like their perspective on Simple Plan, having our families in it and everything. It was probably one of the coolest thing we've ever done as a band.
Chuck, 25 years, it sounds easy, but it hasn't been easy at all.
No, it's I think people don't, it always sounds so amazing. Well, oh yeah, I'm in the band, I do this. It sounds like, oh, it's the best time, every single day is amazing. And don't get me wrong, we're very lucky. It's been incredible. It's been some of the, I mean, definitely the most amazing moments in my life happen with the band. But it's like anything. There's days that are tougher. There's moments that are harder. There's, first of all, just keeping the band together. That's something that is, can be really challenging. So many bands break up, fall apart. They can't, keep going. And we're
Or
very
change
proud.
members.
Yeah, exactly. We're very
Mhm.
proud that it's still the same original members from day one. We all met in our high school. We've been friends for more than 30 years. So it's that's something that people, I think, maybe underestimate what goes on to keeping that possible. It's like so much communication, talking, trying to figure it out. I think we've, you know, that's one part that people don't always realize. And then, like, you go through these moments that the band maybe is not as popular as before, and that can be really challenging. You're kind of wondering, like, hey, is this gonna go away forever? Like, there's no guarantee in, being in a band. Like, it's not a guarantee that the next show will sell out, or that the next album will do well, that the radio station will play your song. So there's a lot of, like, insecurities that come with that. But it's fun to explore that in the movie, and people, I think, can get a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like to be in a band. We want to make it very honest so people could see that, yes, it's amazing, but there's also some tough moments, like you said.
Absolutely. And we need to say thank you for sharing that history with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's our pleasure. I think we wanted to make the kind of movie that I would have wanted to see from my favorite band. Like, I would have, like, when you love a band, you love their music, you want to get to know them better. You want to get to know them as people. You want to figure out, like, how they really are, and
Mhm.
what really happened. And I think that if I love, there's some bands that, like, really being more personal, not just doing a documentary that is, like, all perfect, like highlight reels,
Because
everything
that's not
is
life.
well, that's what I mean. That's just like a PR vehicle. That's just like a publicity. It's an ad. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to try to make, it is a film about Simple Plan, sure, but beyond that, we wanted to make something. We wanted to make a film about friendship, about resilience, about, like, not giving up on your dreams, about family, the importance of family, and having, like, that support system, and the impact of music, and the relationship with the fans. So it goes way beyond. Even if you don't care that much about Simple Plan, I think you can find something interesting in the story, because it's a very human story.
Absolutely. And hard work and effort and passion and loving what you do.
Exactly. I mean, that's the essence of, our story, really. Like, we found something that we had to succeed. We had to make it happen. We wanted it so badly. I think you see that in the movie. I think people are a bit surprised. They're like, "Oh man, like I had no idea that's what it took to be in a band." And look, not every artist's story is going to be the same. Maybe some people, they get discovered at 16, like they play one show and next thing you know they're selling millions of records. I'm sure there is that kind of story, but that wasn't our path. Like we really had to earn everything, and every inch that we got, we had to fight for it and claw, like kind of claw it back, and like but that's our journey, and I think it made us appreciate what we have even more, today. I think it makes us realize like, wow, like we really had to, like, not everything was given to us. It was we
Earn
really
it.
had to make it happen, yeah,
Mhm.
fight for it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
And Chuck, whose idea was it to create this documentary? And what sparked the decision to tell your story now, 25 years later?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, we got approached at first, like a few years back, from like a production company and Prime Video, and they were interested to work on the story of Simple Plan, the history of the band, and we, at first we're like a bit hesitant, like, oh, is it the right time? Does it make sense for us to do this? Do we want to do this? But quite quickly, we kind of came to the realization that this is a big milestone for our band, like, to be around for 25 years. This is exactly what we were hoping for, praying for when we were just starting out, to have that longevity. Because, well, actually, to be honest, when you start, you just want to make it. But then when you have the first success, you right away start to think like, well, how do I make this last? How do I keep this going? And so to be able to achieve like 25 years as a band, it felt like one of those significant milestone, in your journey, in your career. And it felt like we don't really do that a lot, where we take a step back and we kind of appreciate where we've been and what we've done and what we achieve. And so it felt like, yeah, maybe this would be a good time to look back into our past and kind of celebrate it, be proud of it. But at the same time, what was really cool is that this exercise in looking back became a very inspiring thing, and then it makes us excited about the next chapter
Mhm.
of the story that we're writing, and it's like it made us want to write a song. So we wrote this brand new song called Nothing Changes. Sorry. That is literally about the last 25 years, but it inspired us to make new music, and it's inspiring us to see, well, how far can we take this thing? How can we, what's next for us? What's the next goal? What's the next dream that we can do? And so that's been really inspiring and really exciting.
Mhm. And this film absolutely highlights your bond. And as you said, you've been brothers, you've been family, you've been friends for more than 30 years. So I want to know how this closeness helped you to navigate the highs and the lows for these 25 years.
Yeah, I think it's probably the reason why we're still a band today. I really believe that the fact that we were friends before being in a band, that we met when we were 13, 14 years old in high school. I think that made a huge difference, because we're not in a band with strangers. We're not in a band with like, oh yeah, we found this guy. He was from a different city, like a different country, and he
Mhm.
was the best guitar player, and we brought him in. And that's not how we formed our
No,
band. We really formed our band like, we didn't look for the best guitar player, the best drummer, the best this. We just were four friends that wanted to play
friends.
together. Yeah, and we each, I guess, like, got as good as we could together. But primarily it was a friends thing. So what that gives you is that there's this, like you said, this bond that's created, and you know where you come from, you know who you are. Like, I'm not gonna be surprised, like, oh, I can't believe he's acting like that, because I know, like, we know each other so well that it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, but
No, no,
it's
no, I
like
totally get it.
yeah, like you share the same culture, the same values, the same, like, the and you know each other so well, you know where you've been. So I think you understand, you have more compassion for each other
Yes.
because you've been friends for so long. So when somebody maybe does something and you're like, oh, what, why did you do that? You gave him the benefit of the doubt because you go back 30 years, as opposed to somebody you don't know that well. You're like, well, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? So I think you have more empathy, you have more compassion, and you're more indulgent a little bit. You're like, okay, all right, I'm gonna give him a pass on this one. And I think it's the reason why we're still together, because we really truly care about each other. And there's not that many people that you spend, all that time with, 30 years together. It's pretty rare in life to have that kind of relationship. So I think that's why we've been able to survive everything.
Literally everything.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
that's kind of what we wanted. Like in the movie, we talked about things that we hadn't really talked about in public before, and we wanted to be really open, and like it's kind of like in a way, like even the archives, you look back and there's moments where we look like a bit cringe, for a lack of a better word. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe I wore this or I look like that. But we
Yes.
wanted to, it's not always the most flattering moments, right? Or it's not always that we're talking about things that are a bit uncomfortable, but because we wanted to make a movie that would feel real, that would feel like honest and raw and not just like all polished and perfect. So I think that's more interesting for people.
Yes, it is. And Chuck, we all have to face rejections on life. That's the way life is. So this documentary touches all the no's that you had to face before that one yes appeared. So can you share a moment that felt like a turning point for you for Simple Plan?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that I'm the most proud of. When you watch the movie, you realize just how resilient we were, and like we had a lot of grit. Even like when I think back of that younger version of ourselves, like we heard no a lot, and many times, and it was, it could have been discouraging. It was discouraging, many times where you're like, man, is this never gonna happen, or is it? And even after we got signed, and after, like, we still, even today, like there's still moments where you're like, I'm gonna, like, we're gonna try to do something that maybe is a bit above where we're at, or we're gonna aim for something really high, and then you get told like, no, it's not gonna happen. And even 25 years in, with having sold millions of records, like you still get rejected for certain things that you really want. And so you just got to build like a tolerance for it. You got to be able to, like you said, to hear no 10 times, 20 times, 100 times until you finally hear the yes that you've been waiting for. So you're right. That is the essence of the story, I think. And when you ask me about a turning point, I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, like the story of when we got signed. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that was a great story, because it took a long time, and it was kind of like we really had to use like all kinds of like like all kinds of tactics and imagination to like get it done. And but
Your dream came true finally.
well, but it's funny. It wasn't even that the dream came true, because we could have gotten signed and then the record comes out and nothing happened and it's
Well,
over.
yes.
So I think what was great is that we got a chance to get into the race. We got a chance to, like, to prove that we couldn't do it. But it wasn't like, oh yeah, we got signed. It's easy now. But it put you on the starting line and it
Yes.
gave you a chance. So I think that was definitely like a key moment. And then like throughout the whole career, like there's been people that have helped us, whether it's like Mark Hoppus from Blink 182 singing on our first record, or Avril taking us on our first tour and being able to play in front of 15, 20,000 people every night. That was huge. And there's been a lot of key people like Sugar Ray taking us on our first US tour. There's been a lot of like key people that have been really kind to us and that have kind of brought us to where we could get the next step, the next chapter, the next level. So there's not one, like, to be around 25 years, you have to have a lot of, like, of these kind of pivotal moments.
And talking about Mark Hoppus from Blink 182, Avril Lavigne, and members of The Offspring, many of whom you've toured with, I want to know, what was it like hearing their experience or their perspectives on Simple Plan's impact?
Yeah, it was really special because you don't usually, I mean, as much as like you get along with people and you go on tour with them, it's pretty rare that you talk to each other like that, or that you
Hmm.
share this perspective, and especially, you know, like people that have been that important in our lives, like Offspring. You know, that's here's a band that when we were 14 or 15, we discovered them on like snowboarding and skateboarding movies, and they literally like shaped the trajectory of our musical career. Like they made us want to be in a punk rock band. They made us discover
Wow.
all these other bands, and they define, okay, this is what we want to sound like now. You know,
Okay.
so there was a huge inspiration. So for them, for now, for us to be on tour with them, for them to sit down and share what they think about the band and say all these really kind and like wonderful things about the band. I mean, it was like right in the heart, you know. It was
Oh,
really like emotional. Same thing with Mark from Blink. Like Blink's probably my favorite band like of all time, and so for him to even remember all this stuff 25 years later, and
yeah.
I was very shocked to see how much he remembered, like exactly like the right sit, like it's so much happened in his life. You know, it's not like, but it still was, you know, it was important enough for him to remember all this stuff and to sit down and share it. Like it was a big honor because once again, it's a seal of approval to have all these people in the movie. It really like it really elevates the movie. First of all, it makes the story more interesting because you know, I think people that love Simple Plan are also fans of Offspring,
Real.
Blink, and Avril. So Papa
Hmm.
Roach and all these people, Sum 41, all the people in the movie. So for them to have it, it makes the movie even more interesting, even more like nostalgic, and I think that's really really awesome. But personally, for me, like to hear all these like these interviews was really heartwarming, and it makes you realize that hey, you know what, like you've had an impact on the musical scene, and you know, and people notice, you know, people take notice, and that's good.
Yeah, it's heart touching.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's talk about this soundtrack, Chuck. The Kids in the Crowd, just your first career spanning compilation, hits like Welcome to My Life. But there's a new song, Nothing Changes. You've talked about it. I love the lyrics. I love the way it like tells the story, like a compilation of 25 years and the effort it took to put you where you are now. And I love when it says, we grew up in stages, because yes, you did, but somehow nothing changes.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like that was like when I was like
I
when we
love the
were,
song. I really love the song.
well, gracias, thank you very much, I appreciate that. I think we were trying to come up with like a way to kind of like for the song to be like the symbol of the movie, right? Like the kind of like the like to be like, okay, this song, but it's really hard to do to sum up an entire movie, but let alone 25 years to sum it up in one line or one lyric
It's
or one
one
chorus.
song. Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy, you know, and but then like we kind of landed on the idea that yes, obviously when we started out we were like 18, 19 years old. We were just kids, right? And it's like, and we've changed and a lot has happened. Like we have families now, and you know, we've been doing this for 25 years. So when we go to Mexico City to play a show, for example, it's not the first time. So it's like we've been there probably 20 times. So obviously when you start out, when you're doing things for the first time, it's there's an excitement. But at the same time, I was thinking like everything's changed. Like, you know, so much has happened, so many things, the ups and downs and all that, and we've evolved as people. But in a weird way, nothing's changed at all. We're still doing what we love the most. We still very much care about our fans. You know, they're still very important to us. Like we're still going out there every night trying to play the best shows that we can, and in lots of ways we're playing shows and we're still making a first impression on tons of people that have never seen
Yes.
the band before, which is amazing. And we're still chasing that same dream of like to see how far we can take this band and see you know, who like who we can connect with our music. So yes, like everything's changed, but nothing's changed at all because
Yes.
we're still chasing the same things. And so I think once we landed on that idea, it was the song really made sense, and it really it felt like it was very like it was perfectly connected to the story that we were trying to tell with the movie, you know?
Yes, it is. It is. And looking ahead, what are your hopes for the next 25 years of Simple Plan? Because these are the first 25.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of like why we felt it was a good idea to make the movie, because we felt like, okay, all right, let's celebrate these 25 years, but let's open up this whole new chapter and let's write the story of the next 25 years. And what I hope for, well, I mean, it's kind of exciting right now because we're in this moment where we're this kind of like ascending moment where the shows seems to be getting bigger every year. You know, we're playing bigger festivals, and you know, like we're
Bigger
playing bigger,
venues.
yeah, like bigger stages, bigger venues. We're playing with all the bands that we've always wanted to tour with. You know, we're really accomplishing a lot of things that we've always dreamed of doing, and they're finally happening now.
Mhm.
And it's 25 years in, so it's kind of like, I don't know, it gets you really excited and really I don't know, like optimistic, like sky's the limit. Like who knows what we can accomplish, you know? So I think it's sort of, and to have that happen 25 years into a career is a bit surreal. And I don't think we were expecting it, or at least I don't think we, because people told us like, you'll see if you hang around, like the band will have a resurgence one day, and you take that with a grain of salt. You're like, yeah, I don't know if they're right. And then sure enough, it's starting to happen now. So what I hope is to have the same kind of like longevity that we've had so far,
Mhm.
to be able to stick together, to be able to get along, to make sure that it's still fun, that we never forget that that's what it's about, is like for this to be fun for us, for our fans. And I don't know, I just want to, I hope we can do things that, because there, you know, you have this bucket list of things that you want to achieve, and so I hope we can mark a lot more off the list, you know, and say like, wow, it took us 25 years, 30 years, but we did it, you know, like we headlined that iconic venue, or we headlined that festival, or we made
You
like,
will.
and yeah, that's kind of what we're hoping for, and that's been the attitude. And also on the on the artistic side, one of the thing that we keep telling ourselves is that maybe we didn't write the best Simple Plan song yet, and
Mhm.
maybe like the next one we write is going to be like the most quote unquote perfect Simple Plan song that we can write. And you're always chasing that, you know, and we always say like we're 3 minutes away from writing our best song, you know, so we just got to
Wow.
keep trying, you know.
Okay, never stop. Chuck,
Oh, thank
and
you.
Mexican fans want to know about your plans to have this tour in Mexico City.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been coming to Mexico a lot since the pandemic. We've been
Yes.
playing a lot of like amazing festivals,
Yes.
like and some headline shows. So you know, it has become, which is amazing. It has become one of the, I think, best places for us in the world. Like we play the biggest shows, the biggest festivals and everything. So we're gonna keep coming back. We definitely want to probably 2026, you know,
Okay.
come back
Because you have
and do some.
thousands of fans here in Mexico City.
Well, we're
Well,
very
all over
lucky.
the country.
Yeah, we've played some amazing shows all over the country, like you said, but in Mexico City as well. So I don't know, like we don't have a date I can like announce right now, but there's definitely some stuff being worked on for 2026, 27, and hopefully some new music as well, new album, or at least some new songs. So yeah, it's I can assure all our Mexican fans listening that it's like we cannot wait to come back, and we feel like this will happen sooner than maybe people expect.
So great news for us. And
Exactly.
for these first 25 years, Chuck, I would like to know what advice would you give to young people chasing their dreams to encourage them to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say first of all, watch the movie,
Yes.
because I think
First
it's,
of all, watch the movie.
no, but I would say like, I know it sounds like a corny thing to do, but we really wanted to make a movie that would be inspiring for people that have a dream, whatever that is. If it's music, if it's acting, if it's becoming a doctor, if it's becoming a journalist,
Any
um,
dream.
whatever it is that, like, if
Mhm.
you really really want something, it doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter. Like you gotta use whatever toolbox you have, whatever assets you have, whatever makes you a bit different, a bit special. Um, and to have the grit, right? Like to be able to, like we talked earlier, like being told no, but not having that like kill whatever like passion you have, because it's really easy for people to get discouraged and say, it's not going to happen for me, the ship has sailed. And all the messages that I've been getting from people watching the documentary, well, not all, but a lot of them are like, man, like I'm 25 years old, I, I was ready to give up, but I saw that and it makes me want to try one more time, you know. And it's like, because it wasn't easy for us, like we really had to work for every inch that we got. And I think that, so in the movie you really see that. So I would say, don't give up, don't don't let other people's, like, because see, like a lot of people, like they've given up on their own dream, right? So they don't like
Mhm.
seeing somebody that is like optimistic, or somebody that's like full of hope, because that reminds them that they're not like that anymore, or that they never were like that. So I think that kind of shut down. Obviously you can take advice from people, I'm not saying you shouldn't take any advice, but you should be able to, when somebody's just giving you like this negative advice, to kind of shut down and say, no, I know what I want, I know what I believe,
Mhm.
and kind of stick to your guns, stick to your beliefs, and not let that interfere with your self-confidence, you know.
And trust your guts.
Yeah, trust your gut, and kind of just go for it. So I think that's one. I think, you know, as much as like, as much as it's like, oh, yeah, you gotta take, you have to be very confident, keep going, but you also have to put in the work, and you have
Yes.
to. So I would say, like for young musicians right now, like it's very easy to just sort of like, oh, okay, I'll just make a bunch of social media and that's it. That's important, but you also have to spend the time on the music, because at the end of the day, the music, the songs is what's gonna make a huge difference. You know, like the I really believe that, you know, like, yes, you have to promote it, and but you also have to do the work with the actual songwriting, and not
Mhm.
just like, oh, I'll just write whatever, it doesn't matter, like as
No, no,
long
no,
as
no.
I'm like, yes, you have to be on TikTok, you have to be on Instagram, but you also have, before that, you have to work on the craft, on the art, and making something. And I would say, when you do that, don't try to be what you think is in fashion, or what you think is the trend right now. You got to do something that's authentic to you, something that is really, that feels real and honest, because people will feel that. Like when we wrote Perfect, we really felt like this is too personal. I don't know, people are going to be able to relate to it. It's so specific. And sure enough, that extremely specific story ended up being like the most universal song we ever had. And it really connected with people. So I'd say, know who you are, know like your like musical uh, DNA, or like identity, and
Mhm.
stick to that, you know. Because if you're trying to be everything to everyone, then you're nothing to no one.
Absolutely. Chuck, I just want to say, I would like to add and say congratulations for encouraging people all over the world to chase their dreams and to work hard and pursue their happiness and their dreams, because there's always a way.
So that's kind of how, yeah, that's kind of
So
how it felt for us. So thank you for you know, for saying that. That's awesome. That's kind of what we want people to get out of of the movie, but also our songs. And there's
mhm.
always some hope, and there's always a way out. There's always a solution. There's always, like, you know, no matter how dark it gets in your life, or, you know, there's always, there's always somebody that's been through it, and that has gone, you know, got out of it. And so that's when you hear our music, I think that's the hope, is what I think people get out of it, you know. And yeah, so there you go.
Congratulations for the first 25 years, and let's see what the next 25 years have for Simple Plan.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Chuck. See you soon in Mexico City.
Awesome. Adios. Gracias.
Adiós. Soy Patti Velasco para Alfa 91.3, la estación número uno de música en inglés de todo Iberoamérica.
Entrevistas Alfa.